right, let's hit the field.
Well, it is the penultimate game for the Yankees in spring training. They got one more tomorrow. Today was Max Fried's final tune-up before his Yankees debut. We had some power on display from Austin Wells and Anthony Volpe. Plus, we'll go over all of my spring training takeaways and a look at Pinstripe Territory 2.0. My recap, your reactions, coming up next. This is Pinstripe Territory.
Just wanted to talk, that's all.
All right. Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back. Sunday, March 23rd. And we got an instant reaction to the Yankees' final home spring training game. I kind of am getting tired of ties. This is the second post-game show in a row that we have had a tie game. And that has got to end. So we're going to have some actual wins and losses beginning on Thursday. I promise. I actually thought this was the final game of spring training when I woke up this morning and I looked at the schedule and I saw there's one tomorrow. But I told you guys I was working on a lot of things this spring, that some things would make the cut and some things wouldn't. And today I have something very special for you guys who are watching on YouTube. We are unveiling Pinstripe Territory 2.0. The regular podcast will mostly be the same with the countdown of topics, but I wanted to spice up the post-game show a little bit. We've got a new camera. It's full 4K. Unfortunately, that reveals that I am much uglier than most of you probably suspected, although I'm sure some of you already knew I was weird looking. But the graininess of my old camera just kind of disguised some of that. But everything else should be smooth as silk. I'm still flushing things out, so there could be a few changes between now and opening day. I wanted to get to it sooner, but I just bought this new computer, and it's been, a lot of working. But I wanted to do a post game yesterday. Aaron Judge finally went deep, but the Yankees blew a 7-0 lead in the ninth inning. I really thought we got rid of Clay Holmes. I was confused. So today we're going to talk about Max Fried, who made his final tune-up as he prepares for his Yankees debut next weekend. He learned the hard way about the short porch today. Also, J.C. Escara and Carlos Carrasco have made the team, as Will Warren has also made the team. We just found out. I'll do some voicemails. We got some voicemails. We did get some really, really bad news, and I hate to start off the show with bad news, but if you missed this, it's worth knowing. Brett Gardner, his 14-year-old son, passed away unexpectedly on Friday. They released a statement about it. Just terrible, terrible news. Passed away after an illness in his sleep. And Joe Girardi was doing the broadcast when he found out. And, Joe Girardi was Gardner's manager. He was probably around when this kid was born. And he was really, really torn up. I felt really, really bad for him and for Brett Gardner, obviously. So my heart goes out to those guys. Yeah, unfortunately, the bad news comes sometimes, and just gotta, deal with it and make peace with it and move on. And unfortunately, Brett Gardner's got some tough days ahead. But as sad as that is, the show must go on. So let's go ahead and talk about the final spring training game post-game show of the year. And we will next be doing a post-game show on Thursday when it is for real on opening day. Max Fried was hitting a lot of bats early today, but he settled down nicely. We'll talk about him when we get to the pitcher spotlight portion of the show in a few minutes. Yankees were showcasing some pop today. They were hitless for the first 4 innings, but then Anthony Volpe went oppo boppo for a solo home run. Nice piece of hitting. Let the ball travel deep and just put a good hard swing on it. And then a few minutes later, Austin Wells crushed a 2-run shot to center field. 6 home runs this spring for Austin Wells, who is absolutely on fire. And the only thing I worry about with Austin Wells right now is, you don't want to leave it in Tampa, right? You don't want to leave that hot bat behind. Going to have a few days off before the season. I hope he gets some at-bats tomorrow just so he can stay kind of in a groove, because you're going to have some days off. Yankees legend says, Austin Wells, you are ready to take the next step, and I 100% agree with that. A pitcher doesn't want to leave their best stuff in the bullpen. A hitter doesn't want to leave their best stuff in the batting cage or in spring training. So just stay hot, baby. Just stay hot. Paul Goldschmidt had a really good at-bat in the bottom of the 6th inning. Just a really professional at-bat. I'm looking forward to seeing that all season long. I think the improvement over Anthony Rizzo offensively is going to be kind of similar to the improvement we got when we brought in Tino Martinez after Don Mattingly in 1996. We saw Ian Hamilton today. He looked very, very sharp, but he's going to be left behind. He is not going to begin the season in the bullpen. Obviously struggling with a couple of injuries and things like that have slowed him down. But, looked sharp. He's going to be there at some point, probably in early to mid-April, so I wouldn't sweat it too much. We're going to go ahead and make a couple of updates here before we move on. Again, spring training for content creators too, so you might see the ticker slow down a little bit there. The worry with Hamilton is always going to be injuries. He's a lot like Jonathan Loaizaga in that way where, he's got terrific stuff, elite stuff out of the bullpen, but he's a max effort guy. And when you have a max effort guy, it creates physical difficulties. It creates injuries. And he has had a lot of injuries since coming to the Yankees. No question about it. But overall, you got the impression that the Yankees were just trying to stay healthy today. Obviously, you don't want to get anybody hurt right before opening day. You don't want to have any kind of, setbacks with guys who've been dealing with stuff. It was important that Paul Goldschmidt got into the game. He's been dealing with a little bit of a back injury. I expect him to, skip ahead till opening day and pretty much skip tomorrow's game, all that stuff. Fantastic play by George Lombard Jr. in the 9th inning. He was playing shortstop, and we've heard that he is an elite defender. And today we saw it. It was a hard one-hopper. It handcuffed him, but he got to it quick and made an athletic one-handed kind of grab and throw off balance to get the runner at first. Fantastic play.
Our defense.
Shout out to Chain with this fantastic defense drop. But yeah, Yankees unfortunately tied again, and I still don't have kind of a cool tie front end, but that's because there's no ties during regular season, so I didn't anticipate it for the spring training. But that's where we're at. Let's talk a little bit about Max Fried.
Pitcher spotlight.
He served up an opposite field home run to Junior Caminero in the top of the 1st inning. Now, George Steinbrenner Field in Tampa is where the Yankees obviously play spring training, but it's where the Tampa Bay Rays will be playing this season. In case you missed it, the Trop had a ton of damage from that hurricane last fall. The roof got obliterated, and it's pretty much thrown off their plans to have a new stadium. It's thrown them all out of whack financially, and so they're going to have to play their season at Steinbrenner Field. Now, it's going to look different, right? They're going to put a whole bunch of Rays logos and stuff, but it's still going to have the archways. It's still going to say George M. Steinbrenner Field, and it's still going to have the short porch. And one thing that left-handed pitchers especially always learn when they're pitching at Yankee Stadium, or in this case in Tampa, is that short porch can kill you on fastballs away to right-handers, especially up in the zone. And that's what happened in the 1st inning with Junior Caminero. High fastball, and he just kind of tomahawked it. And, I mean, that's the type of home run that Luke Voit used to hit, that Gleyber Torres used to hit, that you see Aaron Judge hit a dozen times a year. Just a high fastball, just serving it in the air. And, Max Fried knew instantaneously that it was gone, that it was a mistake. And hopefully he just learns from that, right? I mean, most effective left-handed pitchers for the Yankees work inside with cutters, with hard stuff. He's been working with Andy Pettitte. I'm sure Andy Pettitte has told him that. They work together on pickoffs. Fried had another pickoff today. But, just a mistake pitch and something, you'd rather have him learn from now than when you get into the real games at Yankee Stadium. Obviously, Junior Caminero, who hit the home run, is an absolute stud. Top prospect, big-time bat flipper. If you've watched any of his Winter League stuff, I mean, he is as exciting as it gets. Max Fried settled down a little bit, though. He got a little bit tired in the 6th inning. As expected, finished with 78 pitches, 49 of them strikes. So good command. He left 1 runner on base. He did have 3 walks, but I felt like he was getting squeezed a little bit. He did leave 1 runner on base that came around to score, but final line, 5 1/3 innings, 4 hits, 3 runs, all of them earned, and 4 strikeouts. A very representative, it's, 5 1/3 innings. You'll see that during the regular season many, many times, I am sure. Hopefully less than 3 runs, but, solid performance. All right, let's move on to some game notes here. Roster notes, I should say. So J.C. Escara has made the team. He was an Uber driver not too long ago, and now he is a pulled hamstring away from becoming the Yankees starting catcher. Now, you hope nothing happens to Austin Wells. You don't want to see Escara be the starter, but I do want to see him get some at-bats during the regular season. Maybe Wells gets some days at DH to keep his bat in the lineup. You can do that now because, if Escara gets some at-bats, you still have Ben Rice available as that third catcher. If you're putting Wells in at the DH spot, then Rice gets the opportunity to be the backup catcher. So, having a flexible third catcher option is huge for the roster. He had a .333 average this spring so far, .302 average in AAA last year, .402 on base percentage. I'm guessing he was a 5-star Uber driver, I guess. We'll see. Maybe he'll drive the team to the airport today. And then 29 years old. So a late bloomer in terms of catchers. Kratz, who we had on the other day, Eric Kratz, he didn't make the major leagues until he was 30 years old. So it does happen. Guys bounce around. So credit to him for sticking with it. And then Carlos Carrasco. By the way, I used to be an Uber driver. I'll get to Carlos Carrasco in a second, but I got to tell you this story. Don't drive for Uber. I used to be an Uber driver. Before I started this podcast, it was my side hustle to make a few bucks when my day job was over in marketing and so forth. And I gave it up because some drunk dude vomited an entire can of corn into that little pocket on the back of my passenger seat of my Nissan. I mean, I would rather just have you throw up on the floor mats. Dude pulled open the pocket like it was a barf bag and it was disgusting. It smelled horrendous. I tried to clean it. I could have paid to have it cleaned and they would have covered it, but I tried to clean it out. It was nasty. It was like reaching into a bag full of somebody's corn puke. And that was the last time I drove for Uber. But a few months later, I actually sold that car. Anyway, Winter League batting champion J.C. Escara. Welcome to the New York Yankees. Carlos Carrasco also on the team, named to the Yankees rotation. Listen, I'm as optimistic as the next guy for the Yankees, but I want to set reasonable expectations for Carlos Carrasco. He's not a young man, and he was 3-10 with a 5.64 ERA last year in 103 innings. Now, he says he's completely healthy. He did have a good spring, 1-0, 1.69, and a 0.94 whip, but this is spring. He's getting out a lot of young kids and things like people who have not been in the major leagues, have not seen a curveball or a sinker like he throws. I'm hopeful that either Carrasco or Warren can put together a decent start to, kind of fill in for the gap until Luis Gil is ready to rejoin the rotation midsummer. I'm not expecting huge things from either one of them. Will Warren has looked a little bit better this spring too, but again, I'm skeptical. I want to see him do it against major leaguers. But there's been some other guys who have looked really good. Cam Schlittler, whose name I'm going to butcher all season long. I thought he was really solid. Ben Hess, he pitched in that minor league breakout game. He's got front end of the rotation stuff, in my opinion. And then I expect there to be some trade candidates out there. Sandy Alcantara for the Marlins is out there, coming back from Tommy John. Big-time strikeout guy, won a Cy Young, had an ERA of about 2.2 one year. Michael King and Dylan Cease could be trade candidates, but the Padres are in an interesting position because they're expected to contend this year. And if you're contending, you're not going to trade the 2 top pitchers from your rotation. So I think best case scenario for the Yankees is, and you don't want to root against anybody, is that the Padres just have a really bad start to the season. But because they have Michael King and Dylan Cease, that probably won't happen. because those guys are good pitchers. Jordan Montgomery could be an option too. I think the Yankees are avoiding taking on that much money. They were unwilling to deal for him this winter when he was clearly available. Their owner had some comments about, how, he needs to earn his contract and all this stuff. I love Gumby. I think he's a great pitcher, but I'm not sure what the Yankees are going to do about this spot. I think they're going to have to solve things internally. But congrats again to Carlos Carrasco, Will Warren, and J.C. Escara. Could be worse. We'll see how it shakes out. All right, final spring training takeaways for me. The beards are already feeling normal. I didn't expect to say that, and I'm so glad that they have beards now, but it's weird seeing these minor league kids like sporting a beard, being comfortable. The Martian is sporting a beard, looks good. You see even the stubble on the faces of Cody Bellinger and Aaron Judge. There's probably going to be a third base platoon. I've been impressed by Oswaldo Cabrera from the left side of the plate this spring. Defensively, he's always solid. Peraza has been absolutely amazing defensively, but he hasn't hit. He just has not hit. He hits a ton of ground balls to short and third base. I think he just hacks at the ball, too downward. And just too many ground balls. Dominguez, I haven't seen much about his defense over the last few weeks. It seems to be improving. He's been working with Bernie Williams. He's been heating up offensively. He's probably the thing that I'm most excited to watch this summer, this season. The rookie year of the Martian, who we've been watching for this channel forever. Martian Tracker, he's finally here, and he's finally here, hopefully, to stay. Ben Rice had a tremendous spring, and I really think he can help make up for some of the loss of Giancarlo Stanton. Would not shock me if Ben Rice has an amazing season, as hard as he is hitting the ball, and you can tell that he is swinging hard, too, and his swing looks good. It's slightly upward, but still level enough that he's going to hit some line drives. But I do think that he's added a little bit more lift to the ball intentionally, trying to get under it a little bit to hit more home runs. And he's put on muscle. It's very clear what this guy's intentions were this year. He wants to come into the major leagues and he wants to hit home runs. And I think he can do it because he hits the ball hard. I'm looking forward to seeing that. I think Austin Wells has a chance to be the best catcher in Major League Baseball this year. The way we're seeing him on both sides of the ball, hitting for power, hitting for average, taking pitches. He's going to be hitting in front of Aaron Judge, going to get a lot of fastballs. He's running the bases well, and of course, he's fantastic behind the plate. He has been since the moment he arrived. And for the people who are devastated over the injuries that the Yankees have suffered, you're not alone. There have been a lot of injuries, but other teams are dealing with them too, okay? We've got, I think I just shrunk my screen. This is a new camera, so I'm dealing with gestures. I got to turn off the gesture thing. Anyway, what was I saying? Oh yeah, injuries. Gunnar Henderson going to start the season on the IL for the Orioles. Lucas Giolito going to start the season on the IL for the Red Sox. And Shane McClanahan for the Rays had an injury, came out of the game yesterday. So, look, the Yankees are not alone. Every team is going to have injuries. Professional sports is difficult, and it's hard on the body. So, let's just hope that whatever happens, the Yankees are able to stay in contention at least till they get some reinforcements. Quick word from the guys over at Foul Territory, Scotty Braun and Todd Frazier, about our sponsor today, Arena Club, and then we'll be back with some of your reactions and a couple of voicemails. Hope you're enjoying Pinstripe Territory 2.0.
Oh, Todd Father, remember the good old days when we would have the cards in the binders, but then they'd get all messed up and we're trying to sell online and it's just real clunky? They really actually weren't the good old days, were they?
No, they were definitely not, but now there's a better way. The Arena Club has been dominant with this. You get to trade your cards, you could sell them, but the best part for me is getting them graded. I love everything about that, this new age of getting cards graded. You could display them on your online showroom, your mobile device. It's the coolest thing in the world.
Whether you're buying, selling, trading, or displaying, Arena Club is the all-in-one trading card platform. You have to sign up for an account at arenaclub.com/foul. Just like Todd Father mentioned, there's a process that combines AI and human grading to get the job done. Right now, 20% off your first slab pack or card purchase by going to arenaclub.com/foul. Use code FOUL. That's arenaclub.com/foul. Code FOUL for 20% off your first purchase.
May I have your attention, please?
All right, so we got some comments here. Let's go ahead and take this super chat here from David. LFC says, it's only spring, but would you be worried about Judge at all? Probably a ridiculous question considering it's Judge, but still. I'm not worried in the least about Aaron Judge. He hit a home run yesterday. He seems like he's rounding into form. I think he's going to be just fine. He is trying to stay healthy because he knows how important he is to this team. The save situation says, do you think Peraza will be released? There's a non-zero chance that he gets DFA'd. I think it's more likely that if he leaves the roster, it'll be via trade. I do think that there could be some trades brewing. We've got a comment here from Paranormal the Funhouse. He says, Paranormal in the Funhouse, he says that the Yankees should add another bat. Do you think we're going to add one? I think it's possible. Brian Cashman said he wanted to add one more righty bat. You know, somebody like a John Birdie, now I'm not saying John Birdie himself, but somebody like John Birdie, who they got last year towards the end of spring, a move like that could happen. I don't think they're going to do anything substantial. Be interesting if they brought back John Birdie again, but I don't think they will. Yannick Regis says they should sign David Robertson. We had another comment here about, how is he not signed yet? He is old and maybe the metrics are holding him back. A lot of times these older guys don't want to take the minimal deal because they've already made so much money. Also, he's had some issues with the Yankees in the past over like the playoff shares, and him and Brian Cashman apparently had a little bit of a falling out. Jaden Pagan says, chat, is the Mario Gomez thing true? I'm confused. All right, so for those of you asking about Mario Gomez, he was kind of trending on Twitter today. He's been on the show once. He was part of another channel. He is a Yankees social media personality. He's a kid, college student. I don't have the full details, so I don't want to speak out of turn. But what I heard was that he was scamming old ladies in some way, in some fashion, to get them to send him Yankees gear and Yankees tickets to buy him Yankees stuff. Now, as far as scams go, I should say, I've heard of worse ones. But scamming old ladies, it's about as bad as it gets. Just be upfront with them. Just be upfront with the ladies. Like I'm saying, to all of you old ladies out there, there is nothing I won't do for a few Yankees tickets. There is absolutely nothing I won't do. So just keep that in mind. And again, we keep zooming out. I got to figure out my hand gestures. I got this new camera, and you can apparently control things with your hand. So I got to turn those hand gestures off. If anybody knows how to do that, it is the OBS bot Tiny, but it's fully 4K. So hopefully you guys are getting a nice view of my, pock marks and things like that on my face. A few voicemails here, a couple voicemails.
Hey, Derek, good morning. I'm calling from Virginia Beach, Virginia. My name's Elliot, and I just want to let you know how I feel about the Yankees farm system. I think George Lombard would be a great addition to the team, just in case third base doesn't work out with the Oswaldos. I'll tell you something, man. If you got Bryce Harper coming up at 19, Juan Soto 19, great phenoms, George Lombard looks the type. What are the chances of the Yankees getting him up early? That would be great. What are your thoughts on that? Thanks. Big fan.
I don't think it's going to happen. He's already been sent to minor league camp. I know he had a late appearance today. They obviously like him. I think I could see him getting to, Double A or Triple A this year, but I don't think he's going to be in the majors this year. They just don't like to rush guys like that. Although, the year that Jason Dominguez turned 20. He turned 20 in February, and he made his major league debut on September 1st. And he hadn't played a ton in the minor leagues, although he had played more than Lombard. So it can happen. Melky Cabrera debuted, I believe, 20 years old. So the Yankees have done it before, but I don't think they're going to move him up that quick. They don't want to set back his development, but clearly he's elite defensively, and offensively he's shown a lot of promise.
Hey, Derek, Steve calling from the Farmers in Maine. Smoking my crack pipe again. I've got a trade proposal. George Lombard Jr. Hold up. Don't hang up yet. Wells. Bellinger. Any two Yankee minor leaguers for Juan Soto.
Oh, come
I know.
on.
I can't believe you've done this.
I don't even know if crack. I don't even think I have the crack button set up yet. But yeah, you definitely have a crack addiction, and I think you need to seek help. Juan Soto, first of all, no trade clause. Second of all, what? Trade any two players and two minor. I can't even remember the scenario. There's zero scenario the Yankees trade for Juan Soto. Come on. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to call it a day. I appreciate all of the comments and interactions and all that good stuff. A reminder to follow us on all your favorite podcast platforms. Follow us on social media, all that good stuff. Pinstripe Territory 2.0. Let's hear it. I will be back later this week. We're going to do a top 10 reasons that I am optimistic on Tuesday. That is Tuesday night. We might do something on Wednesday night, the eve of the season. We'll see. But full force with the post-game shows and voicemail shows returning on Thursday. So tune in for all that. Call in with all your thoughts and comments, and we will see you when we see you. Hey, while I've got you here, be sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel. Pinstripe Territory is the official Yankees podcast of the Foul Territory Network. We are home to the #1 most watched MLB postgame show on YouTube since 2021. We're here after every Yankees game and for reactions to all the best news and rumors during the offseason. Be a part of the show by calling into the voicemail 718-899-1068. Try to keep it clean for me. And if you ever miss us on YouTube, be sure and subscribe on all your favorite podcast platforms. Go ahead and rate us 5 stars. It'll help other people find the show. Thanks for watching. See ya.